we'd like to welcome you to the Monday, July 22nd, 2019, Centerville Board of Education meeting. I'd like to call the roll, please, Mr. Beerman.
Mr. Dahl.
Here.
Dr. Rower.
Here.
Mr. Schroyer.
Here.
Megan Sparks.
Here.
And Annie Self.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I want to welcome all of these students. It's nice to see you all here, and I apologize we are here this time of the room, but we're under construction at the high school, so we're happy to have you. I would like to ask at the end of the meeting if we could maybe get a big group picture of all of you together, because I would like to get that out to show what students have come to meetings. I really think that's great, and we thank you for coming. Just so you know, we actually have a work session a week before our formal meeting, which is the formal meeting is now. Last week, the board met and we spent a couple hours going over everything that you're going to see us talk about tonight. So I don't want anyone to think that we don't spend any time deliberating and talking. We usually spend 2 to 3 hours on our work sessions, and then we wrap it up with a bow. We have a plan, and then when we come to the meeting the following week, it goes pretty quickly, but I don't want to give anyone the impression that we haven't been working hard, because I promise you that we have. So if you have any questions, students, while you're here, we have Student Board of Education representatives. They're happy to answer any of your questions or speak to any of us after the meeting. We're happy to chat with you. So, okay, so we're going to call for order approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Biederman.
Mr. Dahl.
Yes.
Dr. Rower.
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer.
Yes.
Megan Sparks.
Yes.
And Annie Self.
Yes, and now we'll have a legislative report by Mrs. Megan Sparks.
This month, the State Board of Education received 2 new members that were appointed by Governor DeWine. They have also adopted Ohio's social and emotional learning standards for grades kindergarten through 12. The Ohio Department of Education, ODE, stated that each district and schools will decide for itself how to use the standards, based on the values and needs of its local community. ODE will not develop tests to measure students' progress in the learning the standards. Instead, schools and districts will have the flexibility to choose whether and how to gauge the extent to which students demonstrate mastery of them. As we all know, that could change with some time. Last week, Governor DeWine signed House Bill 166, the state budget, but not before making some changes. He vetoed 25 provisions, 7 of which were educated related. According to OSBA, some of the items that were limited were language from House Bill 76 that would have changed the ballot language for levies. Language from House Bill 149 would have given residential developers a tax break. A provision allowing teachers to teach in classrooms that were outside the subject area or grade level in which they are licensed or certified. A provision requiring the Ohio Department of Education, ODE, to annually publish by August 31st a list of challenged school districts and charter schools that are at risk of closing. A provision creating a new category of private schools called accredited non-public schools. A per pupil funding guarantee for school districts, a measure that was not slated to begin until fiscal year 2022, but would have ensured districts to receive at least as much funding per pupil as the state's private schools through the administration, cost reimbursement, and auxiliary services funding. When asked about the funding guarantee, Governor DeWine did say, the priority, and I think I've made it very clear, is our poorest children in the state. We have focus on them. It costs more money to educate them. We care about all of our children, but it seems to me that this language is inconsistent with our philosophy to pinpoint the kids that need the most help. And that's the end of the report.
Thank you. Now we'll have a report from the student board reps. Yes.
Hi, I'm Jacob Myers. I'm one of the lead reps this year. We have 6 reps on our team this year. There's 2 new ones here this year, and 3 of them are on vacation right now. So I'll be pretty quick, and then those 2 reps here are going to stand up and say why they applied for this position. So it's been pretty downtime right now in the summer. Since the summer, we kind of want to take a break, but we're now going to ramp things back up. We're looking to go into freshman orientation, a bunch of other orientation throughout the district to try to get our voice out there and the student voice out there. We're looking at ways to expand Candy and Commons just beyond the high school, so maybe at the middle schools. I'm looking at reaching out to visit the middle schools too. We're also looking at how to kick off our Sandy Hook Promise, since we've been designated a school site, how to kick that program off at our school, whether it be talks and advisory or like a big school assembly. So we're looking at ways and evaluating how to start up that program at our school. So now I'll let the two reps stand up and introduce themselves and say why they applied for this position.
Okay, hi, my name is Grace Beatty. I'll be a junior this coming year, and I applied because I wanted to see what goes on beyond the scenes in the school district.
My name's Steve, I'm a junior, and I applied because I'm pretty quiet, so I'm more of a listener. I get to hear a lot of people's ideas throughout the day, and I feel like this is the best place to voice those suggestions and kind of get things fixed. So,
We're missing Mohammed Mustafa and Madison Ernest, and they're both part-time employees, so. All right, great job.
okay, so next we have hearing of the public. The Board of Education provides this as a convenient opportunity for public comment. Before any official action is taken, the board president will ask if anyone would like to address the board. To address the board. Adult speakers are requested to address the board from the podium, to state their name and address, and students or minors only need to state their names. We ask that all who speak to limit their comments to no more than 3 minutes, as the board does have pre-scheduled reports and action items on the agenda. The board will listen to all who speak, but generally do not engage in discussion or dialogue at this time. Matters requiring follow-up will be directed to the superintendent, Dr. Henderson. Individual board members can be contacted for a set meeting appointment, and written correspondence may be mailed to the board office. Do we have anybody who'd like to speak tonight? Make sure to put you on. Okay, moving on to Mr. Wiedemann for the treasurer's report.
To squeeze my way in there tonight. Good evening, everybody. This is the treasurer's fiscal year-end report as of June 30th, 2019. The following charts will show that fiscal year 2018-19 actual revenue received exceeded the original revenue budget. The charts will also show that the fiscal year-end expenses were below the original expense budget. Even though both actual year-end revenue and expenses were better than the budget set for 2018-19, our district did spend more than it received for the first time since passing the last levy 6 years ago on November 5th, 2013. This chart represents the original general fund forecast information for 2018-19. The gold bar shows the original budget amounts for both revenue and expenses. You can see that the expense budget was projected to exceed the revenue for the year. The blue bar shows that June 30th actual revenue exceeded the original revenue estimate for the year by 0.6%. That's a good thing. The yellow bar shows that June 30th actual expenses were under the original expense estimate for the year by 1.6%. That's also a good thing. This green bar shows what expenses would have been if the district-wide fiber project and textbook purchase could have been made during the fiscal year as part of the overall expense budget as originally planned. The fiber project was not successfully bid out, and the textbook adoption purchase has been delayed a year. If both of these projects could have been accomplished as part of the overall budget during the 2018-19 fiscal year, expenses still would have been 0.6% under budget, which is also a good thing. This slide shows our district is in deficit spending at the cycle, which is reducing the cash reserve balance in the general fund. This expenses exceeding revenue trend will continue because revenue has flattened more than the rising cost of expenses. In addition to a growing student population and the regular inflationary cost of doing business, costs have also risen for school safety needs, special education, preschool, college credit plus, social and emotional wellness, and other unfunded mandates in recent years. I haven't seen any new spreadsheets from the state yet to let us know what we might expect financially over the next 2 years in the new biennial budget. It does appear there could be some minor increases in funding in mental health and wellness. It is important to report once again that our unrestricted state funding only represents 13.7% of our total revenue in the general fund in 2018-19, which means that 86.3% of our revenue mainly came from various types of local support. We have and will likely continue to be the lowest funded per student school district in Montgomery County. Last year, we received $1,799 per student, and the highest funded district in the county received nearly $8,600 per student. The impact of House Bill 920 passed in 1976 impacted the tax rate. The goal of House Bill 920 was to control automatic unvoted inflationary increases in school districts. Each year, the annual tax rate is adjusted downward to cancel out any significant inflationary increases to property tax collections. The impact of this 1976 legislation has forced school districts to go back to voters on a regular basis to maintain a high-quality education and overall operations. Permanent Improvement Fund. We have not been able to take part in the Ohio School Facilities Commission program like many other schools across the state and in the surrounding area because our legislators believe our community has self-sustaining capabilities, which means we do not qualify for additional state assistance for building construction and renovation. We have mainly relied on our current annual permanent improvement funds to maintain and improve our aging facilities. The permanent improvement tax rate has been subject to the same reduction factors since passing in 1998, making it difficult to keep up with our needs. That was the 920 House bill I'm referring to. Combined levy, 11/5/2019. This evening, the board will be acting on a resolution that, if approved, would place a 6.9 mil combined levy on the November 2019 ballot. This levy would be composed of 5.9 continuing mills used to maintain a high-quality education, inflationary increases to operational costs, growing student population, safety, special education, preschool, college credit plus, social and emotional wellness, and other unfunded mandates. And a 1.0, this is the combined part, continuing mill to be used for permanent improvements that will help maintain and update our facilities, dedicating funds for building repairs and renovations. It has been 6 years since the last levy was approved on November 5th, 2013. This is the longest we have gone since House Bill 920 was enacted in 1976. This levy will cost the taxpayers $20.13 per month on 100,000 home value. This concludes my report this evening, unless there are any additional questions that I could answer from the Board of Education.
The governor signed the budget bill and had tons of line item vetoes, and it appears that we will get almost nothing from this new budget. I mean, minuscule, a drop in the bucket, and yet the charter schools are going to be getting significant more money. The schools in need obviously will get more money, which is great. So I was coming here tonight for your history class. You're getting a good lesson in economics. Again, our money that we get to run the school district comes almost exclusively from local property taxes, what your parents are paying in local property taxes. Very little comes from the state. Despite us sending tons of money to the state, it's given to other districts that are in, quote, better need. We're considered a high wealth district, and therefore the governor feels that we don't need any money, but he's certainly willing to take the money out of your family's pockets. So, you know, our expenses go up every year, we're getting less and less from the state, and therefore that's the reason that we need to go back to your parents and ask for more money to run this district so you guys can continue to get the great education you're getting. So when you go home tonight, you can give your parents a lesson on why this levy is so important that you've been here at this meeting tonight.
And if you're 18, register to vote.
Absolutely.
And actually, I have one question for you, but speaking of voting, the student board reps throughout the
Didn't say how to
year
vote, just register to
actually
vote.
hold voter registration opportunities for students, so you have an opportunity to old enough to register to vote. Mr. Peterman, I don't remember if you remember the amount, what does the state give us per student?
We were at, this past year, $1,799 per student.
So that's what each student gets from the state
Yeah.
for the district. What about the charter school students?
I don't have their average here with me this evening. It's not as high as the $8,600 for the highest in Montgomery County. It's probably in the neighborhood, don't quote me on this, but it's much higher than, it's above the flat basic aid number, which is like $6,600. It's above that.
It's around $7,000.
It's around $7,000 per student.
And the difference is when one of our students that live in the Centerville, Washington Township area decides to go to a charter school, even though we only get $1,700 and some dollars from the state, that child that goes to that charter school, we have to have deducted from our amount we get the $7,000, just not the $1,700. So in addition to getting the money from the state that we get, we have to take money that our taxpayers, local taxpayers pay to follow that child to the charter school. Is that right?
It's a deduction from our state funding out the bottom side.
But not the $1,700, it's the $7,000.
That's right.
Another lesson for you guys.
Anybody have any questions?
Very good questions and statements.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
What criteria, if any, are articulated specifically by the state, makes them determine us as self-sustaining? Like, is there an income number, or just kind of?
There's an elaborate formula that they use.
A lot of it is based on property values and income,
Okay,
but that's not the only thing. It's like a 3-page formula. But
Okay.
if you boil it down, those are 2 important factors in that calculation for the formula.
okay.
What was the county that was identified? I don't remember.
Say that again,
What
sir.
was the county that was identified as the forest, not county, the district,
Which one was the $8,600 per student?
the one in Montgomery County that gets more money?
Of the $8,600 per student?
Isn't it?
What district?
No.
Which school
in
district?
Montgomery County is getting more, that was identified as a poor district?
Trotwood.
Trotwood.
Is it Trotwood?
Trotwood.
Yeah.
And the city of Dayton also gets.
And I was gonna say Trotwood and Dayton are pretty
Yeah,
close.
you're right.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna vote on the treasurer's recommendations. Consider approving the June 2019 financial statements, the monthly financial report, the fund activity report, the appropriations, general funding, spending report, general fund summary, the general fund summary, and purchase orders included in the statement number 7, approved by administration then and now, certified by the treasurer, and supported by board resolution totaling $189,599.12.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Peterman?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes. Consider approval of the federal and state advances totaling $159,260.56 from the general fund and return to the general fund upon receipt from the Ohio Department of Education.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry, I jumped ahead. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes. Consider approving the minutes of the following Board of Education meetings, the June 24, 2019 regular meeting and the July 15, 2019 special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Peterman?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes. Superintendent's recommendations. The superintendent recommends accepting resignations as listed on Schedule A. The superintendent recommends the employment, change of employment status, or change of contract status for the certificated personnel listed on Schedule B for the salaries, programs, and on the effective dates given. The superintendent recommends the employment or change of employment status for the support staff personnel listed on Schedule C for the salaries, programs, and on the effective dates given. The superintendent recommends the employment of the personnel listed on Schedules D and D1 for supplemental contracts or extra duty assignments. The superintendent recommends the employment of non-renewed personnel listed on Schedule G for the reasons and on the dates given.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Biederman.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Roller?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes. Okay. Consider approving the Centerville High School fees for the 2019-2020 school year as previously distributed, and consider approving the middle, elementary, and K-1 building fees for the 2019-2020 school years as previously distributed.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
And just, that these fees were not increased,
That's correct.
Correct.
so just so you know, so you can also tell your parents, our fees are not increased from last year to this year.
That's correct.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Roller?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes. Consider approving bus routes for the 2019-2020 school year with authorization for the supervisors of transportation to adjust routes when necessary, as previously discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Roller?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes. Consider approving the lowest and best bid for district paving projects and award Blue or Blacktop for a total price of $141,698. This price includes a 5% contingency.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Roller?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes. Consider approving the memorandum of understandings between the City of Centerville and Washington Township concerning the use of school resource officers as previously discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Biederman.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Roller?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes. Consider a resolution submitting to the electors of the school district the questions of an additional 6.9 mil tax levy for the purposes of providing funds for the current operating expenses and for the general permanent improvements pursuant to section 5705.217 of the revised code, as previously discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Biederman.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Roller?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Biederman.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Dr. Roller?
Yes.
Mr. Schroyer?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes.
And Annie Self?
Yes.